I ordered this paper, watercolour paper, from AliExpress. It's Academy watercolour paper pad, which means that it's actually glued down on all sides, so it doesn't need stretching in theory. It's 300 grams and it's cotton rag. The first thing I've noticed about it is that it's actually Academy rather than artist quality, so possibly not quite as good as an artist one. So I'm going to do a simple painting on it. Never used it before. This is the first sheet, so we're going to be in virgin territory here. I have to paint with. I have 3 brushes. I have an old Hake, a number 4 brush, and a number 10 brush. I've also got some Winsor and Newton paints, and just to show you a tip, I've written the names of the paints there to correspond with the sections, because otherwise it's a bit hard to tell what one is from the other one. But if you do this, it gives you a good idea of what you're painting with. Next thing we need is some clean water, and off we go. So the first thing that I've done is I have drawn a very, very faint horizon line just above the halfway mark. It's not a good idea to do them on the halfway mark. It doesn't look good. I want a smaller sky than I want the grass down here at the front. And I'm going to start by wetting just the top part of the paper. First thoughts, it took a fair amount of water to wet this, so don't skimp on the water. Maybe you can just see there's just a little sheen on it. Right, now I've mixed up a nice puddle of fairly thick cobalt blue, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the cobalt blue down this way. So we shall see. I want it a lot lighter at the bottom than the top. Dry my brush off. Right there. Right, let it dry just for a minute or two, and then I'm going to go back in with my kitchen roll and lift out. Some sky. Lift out some cloud. And then using this fine brush, lift out some smaller clouds. It's lifting fairly well, I must admit. No, I'm not unhappy with the amount of lift. Okay, and there's my sky. Maybe just darken up this area while it's still wet. And lift. What do you think so far? And then we'll let it dry. Okay, all dry at the top. So what I've done this time now is I've flipped the paper over so that that's the bottom edge of the paper, but we're going to start from there. And since we took the sky that way in the strokes, we're going to take the green this way. And we're going to, again, like I did before, wet this paper. I do find these takes quite good because they are quite cheap and they hold a lot of water and they're really, really good for wetting paper. Okay, I'll check. Right, back to my number 10 brush. This is a Rosemary & Co brush, by the way. And this time I'm going to look for a sort of golden colour green. So I've mixed some lemon yellow with a little bit of cobalt green. And this has given me this nice colour. So I want a bigger puddle, so I'll mix up some more. And cobalt green. Don't worry, you can clean these off afterwards. And then I'm going to finish it off with olive green afterwards. Okay, we'll see now whether this is the green colour is looking pretty good. And then as it gets up towards the horizon, I don't want it so intense, so I'm going to take some of this off. Right, so I'm going to go in with this darker mix. Just turn it round. As you come towards the foreground of the painting, your colour should be a lot more intense. If you think it's too intense there, just start to take some of it off with a dry brush, a damp dry brush. I do think that I need a bit. And then we'll let that dry and we'll see how that smooths out. Right, we're pretty much dry now. I've made a quite watery mix of green with a tiny bit of Payne's Grey, which has got a bluish tint in it, because I'm going to go put some trees in the horizon and things tend to blue as they go away. So I'm using a number 4 brush and just a little bit of paint on it, not too much, and I'm going to go along the horizon, just make some a little bit bigger. And then come in from this side as well, for a few here. Don't forget, once you put a mount on this, you're going to lose this anyway. And if you want to, you can make a path. Quite like this, gives the impression of a field. Now, as you come towards this side of the paper, you need to be strengthening up your colour. Because you can see, otherwise it's just going to get totally lost. So you go from watery blues to more intense greens, and also as you get to this side, the tonal value should increase. And you can, if you like, come down here, but I'm not going to. Right, I'm going to let that dry. And in the distance, I am going to add a little farmhouse. And try not to make it too big, because it's a fair distance away. Something like that size, very, very, very faint sketch. Ready?